the United States have recognized Kosovo. Major media have hailed creation of the world's newest country, but calling Kosovo a country doesn't make it one. Now, we've been talking about this for 3 days. I've given you the history of Kosovo. I've given you the history of Serbia, but I have not yet shown you how bad it really, really is. At a special press briefing, outgoing Undersecretary of State Nicholas Burns, a despicable character for many years, an underhanded undertaker who has tried to savage America for years, this Nicholas Burns, who was often mentioned as a possible Secretary of State under a Democrat administration, was thrilled by this. Here is what he said. He said that a vastly majority Muslim state has been carved out of Serbia, a European Christian country. And here's what this despicable vermin said, Burns. Quote, "We think it is a very positive step that this Muslim state, Muslim majority state, has been created today. That is within our own State Department. And I'll tell you who's behind it. It's not Nicholas Burns. It is not Nicholas Burns at all. And don't think it's that school mom, Condoleezza Rice-Aroni. She doesn't know what's going on. It's neither of them. It's the Council on Foreign Relations. And who is the Council on Foreign Relations? Figure it out. Who is the Council on Foreign Relations? Go to Wall Street. Who runs Wall Street? That's who the Council on Foreign Relations is. Why would Wall Street want a Muslim state in the heart of Europe? Why would the Bush administration be in favor of a pro-Islamic presence in the Balkans? Why would they want this? Why would they create the equivalent of a Palestinian state in the southern reaches of Europe? Why do you think they're doing this? When we look at the jihad terror plot to attack Fort Dix, New Jersey, where 4 of the 6 defendants were Albanian Muslims from the Kosovo region, where did they come in from? 3 of them were illegal aliens. 1 was brought to the U.S. by Hillary Clinton as a refugee. Another example of the gratitude from the Albanian Muslim community. And who are these people? Who is the Kosovo Liberation Army? Why are they operating in the United States of America, he asks. He'll be on the show, and you can take it up with him, not me. He knows a lot more about it than I do. All I can tell you is that I'm ashamed today to be sitting here in the United States of America to see that the Gypsies, the Gorani, the Croats, and the Jews have been expelled from Kosovo along with the Serbian population. 2/3 of the Serbians have already been driven out of Kosovo and have not been able to return safely to their homes, along with similar proportions of other groups. 2/3 of the Jews, 2/3 of the Gypsies, 2/3 of the Croats, 2/3 of the Gorani. 150 churches and monasteries have been burnt to the ground, with crosses and icons of Christ attracting particular vandalistic rage. A testament to the secularism that we are being told the Kosovars are going to be bringing to the area. No, my friends, it's not a secular state that's being created. It is a radical Muslim state funded by Saudi money. This is a nightmare. Why George Bush would be doing this is incomprehensible, ladies and gentlemen. It is suicidal to be doing this. That's my opinion. Now, what will happen in Kosovo is the question. As the guest is going to tell you, with the stroke of a pen, President Bush, by listening to the dummies and the ghouls in the State Department's bad advice to recognize a supposedly independent Kosovo, may have triggered the perfect international storm, shattering the principle of the territorial integrity of sovereign nations, encouraging violent separatists worldwide, provoking a needless confrontation with Russia and other countries, boosting the jihad terrorist and organized crime threat to Europe and America, and creating conditions for human rights and religious freedom nightmare. In terms of far-reaching consequences, it may be the worst blunder of Bush's presidency, which is saying a lot. Los Angeles, Pete, go ahead. You're on the Savage Nation.
Hi, Mike. Long time no talk. I used to listen to you when...
All right, Pete, what's on your mind? Go ahead.
My grandparents are from Yugoslavia, were Croatian, and my dad used to tell me about this with Serbians and Croats back then, that during Hitler's occupation, the Croatians sided with Hitler in order to get rid of the Serbians, and what they did in Kosovo, they basically went through a genocide, repopulated them with the Albanians who were Muslim because they were sympathetic to Hitler.
Correct. Well, the Mufti was sympathetic to Hitler. The Arabs have long been sympathetic. Now the Arab Muslims have long been sympathetic to fascism. We know that. And the reason we are at war with Islamofascism is because it is one and the same. with Hitler's fascism, only it's wrapped in a religious garb this time. But make no mistake about it, the Islamo-fascists are Hitler, only instead of wearing the swastika, they're wearing quite a different uniform these days. Some of them even work for the TSA. Thanks for the call. Go tell that to Nicholas Burns in the State Department. Franco, Los Angeles, 8:30 on the dial. Your opinion counts in the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please. Franco, go ahead. You're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please. Dead in the water. Okay, the ship's dead in the water. Eric disagrees. Houston, Texas. Eric, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Thanks for taking my call, Michael. I like your show. I'm your regular listener. My point is you have a lack of knowledge about the Balkans, and I'm very sorry for your lack of knowledge, but you are pro-Serbian, you are pro-Hitler, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but if you look...
Whoa. How can I be pro-Serbian and pro-Hitler when they fought Hitler and your people were wearing Hitler's uniform? I think your wires are crossed.
No, I'm sorry. I disagree with you 100%.
Well, it's not a matter of whether you disagree. History is not something you agree or disagree with. The SS division in Albania, what, are you going to deny that?
I'm not. I'm going to deny what you said, but I will prove it to you. And there are three nations of the face of the earth. They were victorious.
All right, have a nice day. Go call NPR. Tell it to Wolf Blitzer. World War II, U.S. allies, some airplanes get shot down over Yugoslavia. The partisans in Serbia rescued our airmen and returned them safely after feeding them with food that they themselves scarcely had. Well-known fact. I had on this show 10 years ago a Democrat, a liberal prosecutor at Nuremberg who told me he was heartbroken by what Clinton was doing in '98, bombing the Serbian people. I also advise you to do a quick search on the Skanderberg division of Nazis in World War II and who they were and who they killed. They exterminated Serbs. They exterminated Jews. They exterminated gypsies. They ethnically cleansed Kosovo of Christians, of Jews, and of gypsies. That's the subtext of what we're talking about. Now, as far as the other side of the aisle goes with McCain, I've said 20 times, I've said it once. I'm not a McCain hater, unlike some in the media who've painted themselves into a corner, and I don't know how they're going to get out of it. With McCain, we'll get 65% of what we want. With Obama, we're liable to get minus 65% of what we want. With Hillary, we'll get 10% of what we want. And that's because she's an establishment candidate. We pretty much know where she's going to stand. She'll wreck the borders. She'll destroy the border fence. She'll make language meaningless. It'll become a polyglot, balkanized America, which is what the international community envisions for us. They want this country to become balkanized, and they want to do so by turning race against race, religion against religion, and make no mistake about it. That's the plan of the International New World Order, which is to break the hegemony of the United States of America by having one group attack another and keep it on a low boil. That way they can get away with what they've been getting away with for decades, only they can continue to do it in spades. That's the way I see it, and I think millions of you see it the same way. And that's exactly what the problem here with Kosovo. Genocide has been committed in Kosovo. This will provoke an attack, further attacks upon the Serbs, the Jews, the Gypsies, and other minority groups in Kosovo who have been there for ages. And how the State Department can glorify the establishment of an Islamist state in Kosovo is incomprehensible to me. I do not understand how you people don't understand the danger that this poses. What Washington is trying to inflict upon the poor Serbs today could be the fate of the American Southwest tomorrow. I said that to you yesterday. If you start to encourage separatist movements, you have no idea where this is liable to end. And Israel? Israel doesn't know what to do. Israel, of course, is a puppet of Washington. We know that. What, you can't say that? You're supposed to go, ooh, what he said. Israel's a puppet of the United States State Department, which is why it's in disrepair right now. It is no longer an independent nation. If it ever was one, it is still right now, more so now a puppet of the State Department than ever before. So you got Israel standing there, and they're afraid to know what they're afraid because they don't know what to do. They're afraid of angering Washington. And if they support the Kosovo precedent, the next day there could be a proclamation of a Palestinian state right within their own borders. And then what are they going to do next? Who are they going to turn to? Condoleezza Rice? It's unbelievable to me. It's incomprehensible that you people would allow this to go on without any anger. Don't you understand what's going on here? Christian Serbs in Kosovo are now being targeted for the worst. They're now being targeted for worse than they've already experienced. And they've experienced pretty bad, something that you can never comprehend. And if you think that the new Kosovo is going to be a peace-loving member of the new NATO alliance, you're out of your mind. Because radical Islamist influence is already seen in Kosovo. And if allowed to consolidate, an independent Kosovo would become a way station toward an anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-Christian Eurasia. Why is it that so many intelligent people understand this, but George Bush doesn't understand this?